Good morning. I've spoken on my channel in the past few weeks about Folie A Race, and I've noticed over the last few years that this very rare condition, so rare in fact that people decided to take it out of the DSM-5, I've noticed that there's been a lot of cases cropping up. I'm a true crime aficionado, and Folie A Race has been alive and well, and I think if the whole is the sum of the parts in this holographic universe of ours, it is not a reach to realize that this is what is happening now to humanity as a whole, to the earth as a whole. Folie A Planète, Folie A Race Humane. The folly of a planet, the folly of this bloody human race, this shared psychosis. So, Folie A Race, the cases I was talking about specifically would be Laurie Vallow, Chad DeBell, people like Chris Walking Shitstain Watts and Nicole Kessinger. It would be the young teens involved in the Slender Man killings. This condition affects families, groups, for example, maybe Jonestown. So, you've got Folie A Deux, Folie A Trois, Folie A Quatre, Folie A, is it Plusieurs? I don't know, someone who knows French, I don't obviously, would be able to tell me, but this is what we're in right now, okay? We've got psychopaths running the earth, turning us into a freaking asylum, and we've got the primaries infecting us, the acceptors. The reason why we're not going to get well from this is because we are trapped and isolated, and we have the other acceptors and the psychopaths telling us every day what is happening and reinforcing these beliefs, reinforcing these delusions, reinforcing our psychosis through the media, through these scaremongers, through these inglorious gnomes, through these gurus, through these scientists, through these doctors, through these ludicrous medical papers and things like this. We can all think of hundreds of ways, and this is not a normal situation where it might be a pair of people that's sticking very tightly together, so the acceptor is not around quote unquote normal rational people who can discuss with them, who can break down these fears and barriers and delusions through rational discussion and thought. So, for example, these beliefs are staying very fixed because they're not faced with this conflicting evidence, okay? So, with delusions, you've got different ways it manifests, and this is how it's managed to get the human race by the balls, by the short and curlies, so easily and so readily, because there's different prongs of ways it can get each individual. So, because you've got individuals that are predisposed to things in different ways. So how do these delusions take hold? They might be of the bizarre type, and this is where, and I'll just give you a personal example because I don't want you to think that I'm just talking shit either. I do have decades of experience with various mental illnesses, with various things in my life I've lived through, personal knowledge, personal faith in myself on about things as well. So I've lived with delusions, psychosis, schizophrenia, and I know that human beings can heal and will heal without violent intervention, without medical intervention, without neurotoxins. And for example, with bizarre thoughts such as I'd go to a park, I'd be down there just wandering around, I was scared of everything, very paranoid. I tried to avoid things in my home, and yet I'd go anywhere I went. I was frightened. And I would think, oh, look, these people in the park, I can't go near a playground because there's signs up saying I am a pedophile. I would have all manner of bizarre beliefs. I was being, my cat was spying on me. My parents lied to me. I was actually a boy, and I believed myself to be a woman, which I am, by the way. It just could be any manner of things, okay? And very persecutory, extremely frightening. Hell is existing while you're alive on earth. You can be terrified and live in such a state. It's extremely damaging, extremely distressing, and I have huge compassion for anyone in these states. That is bizarre, okay? And so, and obviously without evidence, you might think your organs have been stolen while you don't have scars, for example. So the other type would be, say, non-bizarre. And this is things that other people in society and in your culture, they could believe, would happen. It's harder for them to sort of dissuade someone once they are away from that primary, okay? Because you might think that you are being watched, and this could be through your devices, could be through your television, it could be that you're followed by private investigators, by people who are agents for certain organizations. It could be law enforcement agencies like the CIA or FBI or whatever. Wherever you are in the world, you'll have different groups that you'll be aware of. So that's non-bizarre. Non-bizarre meaning that it's something that happens in the world that your fellow neighbor and everything understands as some sort of truth, okay? So then there's mood congruent, and this would be for people who are living with some sort of perhaps diagnosis, some sort of condition. So people with bipolar, it's a misunderstanding that, it's when people are in the depressive state of bipolar that they're a danger to themselves, for example, and that they have all these the major fears and irrationalities, because it's actually in the manic state when people are a danger to themselves a lot of the time when they're bipolar, because these delusions of grandeur cause very strange and dangerous behaviors, and they cause, difficult beliefs to live with. It could be that they think they're going to be made a princess, that they are going to become suddenly famous for something, that they have invented something that saves the world, that they are the child of a very famous person, that they have some superpower, that they are going to win a lot of money. So that's mood congruent. It's congruent with an altered state, kind of, with some sort of heightened reality that a normal, what we call a normal or rational person, isn't living with and dealing with. So then you've got the mood neutral. So this is occurring to what we would call a normie, people who don't have what we would call an underlying mental condition, and it can be something bizarre or non-bizarre. So this is probably the majority of the world. This is how these primaries can affect acceptors in all these four ways. So really it's pretty much covering any one of us incredible earthling race. And when you're suffering these delusions, what is keeping this perpetuated? What is keeping this going? Well, as I said before, folie A deux. You are with this one person. It's often extremely tight, close, a sudden bond, and you are stuck together. You 24/7 thinking of each other, in communication, or actually physically with each other. And you are isolating from others, from society. And so you're not, getting these other beliefs around you coming into play where you can be spoken to by so-called normies. And, if you were separated from that imposer, the primary, you would, your delusions clear up. They often clear up within a few weeks. Okay, so you are isolated. We're not mingling, and you're not just having different conversations with people with other points of views. We are all in this together, and we've got the fucking media, we've got the scaremongers, we've got our psychopaths at the top, we've got the inglorious gnomes, we've got the gurus, we've got the scientists, the doctors, everyone coming at us, propagating our beliefs. Like, they are seeding our beliefs, they're feeding our beliefs, and it's just keeping this whole thing fucking going. So we are in a state of paralysis, we're in a state of paranoia, we're in a state of fear, and these things cause stress. And stress, I believe, I'm so sorry guys, I just realized I'm really yelling at you, and I normally just try to speak normally, and I'm just very passionate about this, so apologies. And we're in this state of fear and stress causes disease, dis-ease. I think stress, shock causes disease. I really have seen this happen so many times. I'm nearly 50. I feel like I've observed things from so many different points of views and in my own life, and the things that I am curious about and read about, and so you could say this is just my belief and my delusion, and that's fine, and I completely understand that, but this is just what I'm putting out there for you, for food, for thought. And I hope more people can start pondering in this way on this very subject. I know there are people talking about this at the time, and I want to come at it from this holographic point. Can you see how the part is the whole, how the part creates, it reflects the whole? I mean, the part contains the whole. So, this is how a planet overnight, okay, has this Folie A Race Humane, the human race. What happens to people who are stressed? What happens to people who have mental illness? They get medicated, don't they? Because people's cortisol is sky high. People's dopamine is sky high. Dopamine, we know, is related to mental illness, okay? And we're already used to being given medications, jabs, pills for everything, and we're conditioned to accept medication. From personal experience, you can heal from psychosis, you can heal from delusions, you can heal from schizophrenia without medication. And it takes guts, it takes desire, it takes commitment to yourself to see it through it. And and I have PTSD from what I've gone through with my mental illness and with my experiences around that, and the PTSD that the world is going to suffer after this. That frightens me, because if people haven't healed themselves in the past, they don't realize they can do it, and they don't realize they can do it now. Just through belief, through faith, the physical and the mental creates our universe. And this is why I've been putting David Bohm's videos of his talks on some of my I'm so sorry, on some of my videos now. I want people to start listening to that, and waking up to the ideas of the holographic universe, the ideas how physics can teach us about our universe, physics and philosophy. So the world is isolating. We're not getting any other opposing views, really. There are people out there obviously talking about it and on YouTube and trying to get things out there in the media. Don't put any one person on a pedestal either. I'm not saying that, because this is where we go down dangerous paths too. You have to look inside. You have to have your faith in a healed world. You have to have faith in a well world. You have to have faith in a well self. You have to see the sunshine. You have to, have you ever had those moments where just everything just lifts? And that is that's you kind of feeling a manifestation of faith over that imposing of belief, over you being an acceptor. When you get out of a bad situation, when you just move away from bad people, and suddenly a weight comes off your shoulders, a weight comes out of your mind, and it's like your eyes open, your pupils open, and the sunshine pours in. It's like orgasm, and things are brighter, clearer, crisper, more you just feel a weight is lifted. You can do this now, right now. It is a choice. It's a choice. Life is a choice, just like healing my mental illness was a choice. I mean, when I went through menopause, I was so confused. I was in so much pain, and I stupidly thought I should be going on to some antidepressants, because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And they ruined my life. They ruined a relationship. They changed me dramatically. I mean, I still always, but nuts, and I'm immature in relation. All the things. I'm not saying I suddenly became one person after being perfect, because that's very far from. What I'm saying is I was not able to be in control, or the nightmares and everything, and then coming off these pills is just as bad, and the mood swings, the suicidal ideation, the nightmares, the distress, the despair. Oh, it was awful. And why I thought this, I don't know. And every time I've been on antidepressants, you're a zombie. And that's what they want, zombies, is it? You feel nothing. Like you get joy in nothing. And okay, you feel like you're free for a little while from some troughs or, actual intensity. But in the end, it's awful. I mean, after the 5 months when I came off them, I tapered off. Crying felt so good. Sadness felt so good. It felt so healing and so normal, and it was so wonderful. And I could feel happiness in simple things as well. And it's such a blessing. And the reason for this video is, I guess I've blathered on about myself and all sorts of things, and I often do this, end up rambling because I don't write these things. Perhaps I'm going to write a video. Perhaps I should produce one properly. But I find that's when I start doing the ums and ahs. I mean, I'm just better just winging it and just talking from my heart. And, it probably comes out a little bit better. But I'll try and produce something where I do talk about this Folie A Race Humane properly, and just as a theory, and how this is relating to what's happening in the world. I don't think it's any, maybe it's just no coinkydink that these cases have been coming into the media, and it's nearly like we are invited to be involved in these true crime cases. We're invited to try and solve them. There's even the hunter killers. It's making us primed for seeing, for having this in our consciousness, and it's priming us for being detectives toward our fellow human being, and for thinking that we know how to solve these things, for spying, for looking for clues. And we are a world primed for this. I'm not going to say we asked for it ourselves, but I don't know. I mean, maybe we have created it because we've accepted. Okay, so this has gone on long enough. This is my longest video. It's 20 minutes. I'm going to go on a bike ride now out to the coast because where I am now, my videos don't upload at home. They take forever. But if I cycle around out in the wide open spaces, somehow they just seem to load. If I go and stand next to the army base, they'll load even faster, which is just across the street from me here. Thanks for listening again. I never say, look, share my videos, but I hope this does create a talking point. I actually want this to be a talking point for you. And please actually share this idea with your friends and family. Please talk to them about it. What do they think about it? Have they ever thought in the past about the holo movement, about the holographic universe? Who do you know that looks into that sort of thing? Discuss it with them and let's spread this. You can spread the cure as quickly as they've spread our delusion, our sickness that we are all experiencing together. So thanks a lot. I really care about all of you. Thanks for listening and understanding. This is, how I've been doing crafts for you guys. This was the other one. I've bedazzled one of my ukulele. This is a soprano uke. So it's a bit bigger than my little purple one. And it's got a really nice sound. I actually like the bass sound of my little uke a bit better. It's just one of those little Makala ones, my little purple ones, that you can get for around $50. And this one I had for a long time as well, but for a year while I was going through the TSM treatment, which is the Sinclair method treatment, which I also talk about, to come off alcohol use, and while I was coming off my antidepressants, the Lexapro, for some reason I just was not playing ukulele. I wasn't doing a lot of things, but I was working on other things, and I did get a lot into YouTube carnivore community, and actually it was a bit of a rabbit hole, but one thing I realized through that was without the alcohol I was actually compensating with fruit and sour cream and things like that, and that actually upset my body because I've been a carnivore for over a decade. Well, actually basically probably all my life as a young child omnivore, I guess, and then forays into vegetarian and paleo and all my own kind of twists on diets, on the Candida diet and everything, all the way through my journey to heal my health and my mental illness, ending up, vegan and then vegetarian, and that damaged my health, but, discovered gutsense.org and the Menace of Fibre 10 years ago, and that once and for all put me on a carnivore path. Those are other videos. Why am I talking about this again? Yes, I had put down the ukuleles that, I'd wanted to learn to play because I just love to sing, and I just wanted to be able to accompany myself. So I can actually play, I can read music, and I can play, there's some really difficult notes still. I just can't teach my fingers to play, but I probably can play at least 15 or 20, 25 chords. This is really diverted, and I've chatted on for another nearly 5 minutes. So let's keep this under the 25. With a lot of videos that I listen to, I just change the playback speed to 2.0 or 1.75. Obviously, just feel free to do this, or obviously just miss out this whole last 5 minutes, which you won't. listen to. Oh my gosh, I'm losing it. I better get on my bicycle. Thanks again. Care about you all. Look after yourselves and have a think.